I adore my childhood sweetheart and plan to force myself on him, but the system tells me I'm a villainous supporting character and can't lay a finger on the female lead's harem. I lower my eyes, looking at my childhood sweetheart beneath me, clothes disheveled, lips red and moist. He's part of the harem. System, no, he lives for the female lead, dies for the female lead, and remains unmarried for the female lead his entire life as the villain's assistant, on the dark blue bed. Hui Yanquan's eyes were covered with a silk ribbon, and his two thin, powerful wrists were held high above his head. His clothes were wide open, and his breathing was ragged. Sensing someone pushing the door open, her body couldn't help but tremble slightly. Yeah, is that you? The usually aloof legal genius was now with her clothes wide open, at someone's mercy. I looked down at this scene, only to find my throat dry, however, just as I was about to pounce. A segment of memory that doesn't belong to me suddenly appeared in my mind. In that memory, I am the vicious female supporting character in the female-dominant, poorly written novel, The Female CEO and Her Three Men. My sole purpose for existing is to serve as a foil to the female lead, highlighting her charm. I come from a wealthy family, while the female lead has a tragic background. I am tall, beautiful, and confident. The female lead has a plain appearance and an ordinary personality, however. Even though I have everything, the male leads all fall in love with the female lead. They are moths to a flame for the female lead. Even in modern society, a family of 4 is accepted, but I, the vicious supporting female character, after learning that the female lead was about to get married, was jealous and unwilling, and deliberately planned a car accident to take the female lead's life. But before the car accident happened, the villain, who had been secretly protecting the female lead, discovered my plan. In order not to disturb the female lead's wedding, the villain tied me to a small wooden house by the sea, patiently solving the problem of me, the troublemaker, for his beloved. His methods were bizarre. After the memory ended, I subconsciously checked my body, warm, intact, not yet fish food. That was close, however. Before I could feel relieved, an electronic voice suddenly echoed in my mind. Congratulations, host. You are now bound to the villainous female supporting character escape system. As long as you cooperate with me and complete all the female supporting characters' plotlines, the system will rescue you before the villain flays you alive. As it spoke, the bizarre and horrific image of my legs reduced to white bones, yet my heart still beating, flashed through my mind once more. Do you know who killed me? The system was silent for 2 seconds, then said gloatingly, darling host. It's the one you tied to the bed. He's the villain in the story, but his feelings for the female lead are very deep. The female lead almost gets into trouble every time, but he's always secretly helping her. Hui Yanquan, how could the villain be my childhood sweetheart? Hui Yanquan, when I found out the truth, I rushed to untie the stockings on Hui Yanquan's wrist, my face covered in cold sweat. Brother Che, are you all right? I didn't mean to kidnap you. I just wanted to have some sexy time with you. That obviously wasn't appropriate. To excuse myself, I blurted out, I was just joking around with my friends. Who would have thought they'd actually grab you? The ribbon slid down from Hui Yanquan's high, straight nose. Having been blindfolded for too long, the corners of his eyes were an abnormally flushed red. After I untied his hands and feet, he blankly and helplessly took a long time to recover before finally getting up and sitting at the edge of the bed. You said, just playing around. Hui Yanquan's eyes were dazed, as if my unconventional behavior had shattered his worldview. I cleared my throat and explained, yes, we were just joking. My crush on Hui Yanquan is an open secret. At first, many friends around me couldn't understand why I would eat the grass by my own nest, but after I kept talking about it, they got used to it, and even gave me ideas on how to pursue her. Today's strategy was something we discussed for a long time. It's just a pity that it had to end abruptly. If Hui Yanquan had even a shred of affection for me, how could he have treated me like that? I don't know if I was mistaken, but as soon as I finished speaking, Hui Yanquan's eyes seemed to deepen. Yeah, he moved his wrist slightly, reaching out to grab my hand. But the feeling of the flesh being cut off inch by inch has not completely dissipated. The moment Hui Yanquan touched me, I reflexively shook him off. Brother Che, I won't be like this in the future. Don't be angry. Hui Yanquan moved next door to my house when he was a freshman. He doesn't like to talk. During school, He left early and returned late. During holidays, his door was always locked. He lived like a transparent person. His father had a soft heart and couldn't bear to see others suffer. So he bought gifts in large bags and sent them to him, but Huiyanchen mostly refused. Occasionally accepting them, he would exchange the gifts for cash the next day and put the money back in his father's wallet. I was a year younger than Huiyanche and quite disdainful of his sudden appropriation of my father's love, always looking for a chance to teach him a lesson. However, before I could take any action, I saw Huiyanche being stopped by several hooligans on my way home from school. Top student, aren't you supposed to be good at making money? How come you don't even have 50 on you? God, Hua, Qingqing is just being nice calling you that, and you dare respond. Did my fist not teach you how to behave? They provoked Huiyanche and stepped on his shoes. Huiyanche, who wouldn't even give my dad a proper look no matter how much he coaxed him, was standing right in the middle of these people, letting them do whatever they wanted to him. I don't know why, but at that moment, I was exceptionally angry. Bang, with a sound. I crushed the empty Coke bottle in my hand and threw it at the leading thug. If you want money, why don't you come to me? What's the big deal with bullying a transfer student? The yellow-haired guy turned his head angrily, but quickly lost his momentum the moment he saw me. He composed himself, cupped his fist in the other hand, and bowed to me. Sister Jiang, do you know this person? I frowned, unwilling to speak. The yellow-haired guy exclaimed, "I-oh," as if suddenly enlightened. I get it. This is Sister Jiang's boyfriend. Look at this. Isn't this a case of the water from the flood washing away the Dragon King temple? As they spoke, they returned the money they had taken from Huiyanche, patting him on the chest to help him catch his breath. Bro, if you had told me earlier that you and Sister Jiang were together, I wouldn't have bothered you. You already have Sister Jiang. Would you even look at anyone else? The system could prove that Huiyanche was capable of looking at others, and even treat me like Peking duck for someone else. I can't understand how Huiyanche could torment me so for the sake of the so-called female lead. That night, thinking about the past, I found it hard to fall asleep. However, my best friend, who had arranged everything for me, couldn't wait any longer. She called 4 or 5 times to harass me early in the morning before I even woke up. How was it? How was it? Was Huiyanche delicious? Still half asleep, I quipped instinctively. How could the husband I raised myself not be delicious? Haven't you heard of that word? A childhood sweetheart. Nothing could be more perfect. As I said that, I lazily rolled over. On the other end of the phone, my best friend was exploding with excitement. So, the confession was a success. It didn't even get to that point, memory flooding back. I coughed lightly and quickly changed my tune. Confess what? He's so well-behaved and boring. How could I possibly confess to him? I like the wild type. I don't like him at all. I was just messing around before. Don't mention it again. My best friend was dumbfounded. Are you still not awake? No, I'm having a major breakdown. Rubbing my eyes, I struggled to think of an excuse. However, the moment my eyes opened, my gaze met Huiyanche standing by the bed. How long had Huiyanche been standing there? Did he hear everything? I hurriedly hung up the phone and propped myself up. Brother Che, is something the matter? Today, Huiyanche was wearing a soft, fragrant white set of loungewear. The slightly long sleeves covered the bruises on his wrist. The way he was trying to hide them made him look like a newly beloved husband. Does Yaya think I'm well behaved? He suddenly said. I was startled. What? It's nothing. Breakfast is ready. Get up. Oh, mornings like this, since Huiyanche and my stepmother came through the door, have happened at least 1,000 times, if not 500. But at this moment, being stared at by Huiyanche, I felt deeply uncomfortable. Brother Che, we're all grown up now. In the future, please don't just come into my room whenever you want. As soon as the words left my mouth, I didn't dare to look at Huiyanche's face. After all, I was the one who said my room was always open to him back then. Ever since I ran into Huiyanche being surrounded by gangsters, my feelings for him have changed. His parents divorced early and avoided him like the plague after they each started new families. My dad felt sorry for him and treated him with courtesy, wanting to get close to him, and often invited him to our house for dinner. But outside, Huiyanche would get bullied without saying a word. Isn't that like slapping my face and my dad's face? Because of this, I followed Huiyanche for 3 weeks straight, only to discover that the reason he was always leaving early and returning late was because he was working part-time after school. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, he goes to the supermarket to help people carry seafood on ice. 246. He works the night shift at the 24-hour convenience store. He finally gets a day off on Sunday, but he spends it shuttling between 4 families. Tutoring kids from 8 in the morning to 6 in the evening. After following him for 3 weeks, I'm exhausted to the point of a pointy chin, and I can't make up for it even by eating 3 bowls of rice at every meal. But Hu Yanchen acted as if nothing had happened, always picking up only the vegetables closest to him whenever he came to my house for dinner. I couldn't take it anymore. I snatched a chicken leg from under my dad's chopsticks and threw it into his bowl. Eat. Let me see if you're allergic to meat. Hu Yanchen was stunned for a moment, then looked up at me, that look, as if he was seeing me for the first time. What are you looking at? I threw 2 more shrimp into his bowl, puzzled. If you're unhappy, we can go outside and fight. Hu Yanche's thick, dark eyelashes trembled slightly. After a moment, he took a precious bite of the chicken leg. I can't beat you. His voice was soft, like jade stones colliding. While others his age were stuck with a croaking voice during puberty, his youthful voice, laced with electricity, gently scratched at my heart. After that day, my interactions with Hu Yanche increased. Besides giving him food when I saw fit, I often stood up for him at school. He was from out of town, gentle-natured, and good-looking. Even when he was quietly studying, people would try to cling to him. After witnessing others coercing and enticing him to confess their love to him 3 times in a row, I got annoyed. I directly barged into the broadcasting room and declared, Hu Yanche is under my protection. Jiang Yu, I'm waiting here for him to study hard and make me proud. What are you all doing? From now on, if anyone tries to seduce him and prevent him from studying properly, believe me, I'll expose all your dirty secrets. After that, no one continued to harass Hu Yanche. They're afraid I'll go crazy, and the fundamental reason I don't continue to go crazy is, Hu Yanche lives such a pitiful life. I want him to have as good a time as possible. Shenzhen loves to rain in July and August. The rumbling thunder is so loud it ruins the feel of playing games. I dropped the controller and walked out of the bedroom, bumping into Hu Yanche, who was lingering at my door. Something up. My dad said that he was worried about little Hu living alone without anyone to take care of him, so he let him move into our house. I looked at him with my chin raised, not understanding how he could eat so little and still grow so tall. Hu Yanche didn't reply, remaining silent for a long time before suddenly grabbing my collar. Are you going out? Can I come with you? Cautious and careful, as if I had made some outrageous request. I nodded nonchalantly, went downstairs with my tail, grabbed an ice-cold Coke from the fridge, opened it, and kindly reminded him as he stood there expectantly, you know my dad's a nouveau riche, right? You're saving money for a nouveau riche. What's the point? With that, I grabbed a bottle of Coke from the fridge, intending to hand it to Hu Yanche, but halfway there, I tossed the Coke back and replaced it with milk. What are you waiting for? Drink up. It thundered all day that day, and Hu Yanche stuck to me like glue. Entering the room, I found a 2-player game to teach him. We played until 1 in the morning, finally tasting a hint of abnormality from the painful failures. Hu Yanche, can't you just say you're afraid of thunder? We've lost over 100 games. What's the concept of over 100 games? Wouldn't it be better to get some sleep with that effort? Hu Yanche's slightly drooping hair covered his eyes. I couldn't see his emotions, but I could see his fingertips trembling with self-blame. I pressed him onto the bed and picked up the game controller again. You sleep, I'll play and keep you company. Unexpectedly, Hu Yanche didn't refuse. He buried his face in my quilt and asked very softly, Jiang Yu, aren't you going to sleep? I said nonchalantly, there's a difference between men and women, understand? You took my bed and still want me to sleep on the sofa? Dream on. Hu Yanche seemed to smile when I heard the sound and turned back. He had already suppressed the corners of his mouth, leaving only a pair of eyes full of laughter. Even though it was a rainy day, at that moment I only felt hot. Anyway, if you need someone to hang out with, come find me, I've got your back. Just consider it giving my dad some face. Hu Yanche didn't believe it, and confirmed with me, anytime. Yes, what if I make you angry? Skiing lightly, I complained with a smile, big brother, there's no need to hold such a grudge, right? If I think about it carefully, this promise has been in place for many years now. Now that it's suddenly cancelled, even I feel awkward about it. End of memory. After a long silence, Hui Yenche finally reacted, yeah, are you angry with me? Because you didn't want Yuan Qing to be my assistant. But I didn't listen, actually. His handsome Adam's apple bobbed nervously as he finally explained. I indifferently looked away, unmoved. Brother Che, it's nothing, don't overthink it. Hui Yenche's cooking is pretty good. When old Jiang wasn't home, I relied on him for food. I didn't have much appetite today, so I just picked at my food a bit, then grabbed my car keys, ready to head out. But Hui Yenche grabbed my collar. My car is in the shop for maintenance. Can you give me a ride? Since I showed interest in Hui Yenche, he has rarely made requests of me. What's going on with him today? After thinking about it, I handed him the car keys. Then you drive. I'll have Song Ling come pick me up. As I said that, I dialed Song Ling's number. Song Ling has been my neighbor and childhood friend for over a decade. The reason we get along so well is that we share the same bad taste. On a freezing cold day, Song Ling arrived in his beat-up convertible, the scissor doors angled upwards. Song Ling looked at me, then at Hui Yenche, and said with rare politeness, "Thank you, Attorney Hua, for giving me this opportunity." Then, smiling, he reached from behind and presented a small bouquet of roses. "Princess, please get in the car." I threw the bag over, unable to comprehend. So flamboyant so early in the morning. Which sister have you taken a fancy to now? Song Ling laughed loudly. Sister Jiang. Who else? He was used to speaking without restraint. I rolled my eyes, not wanting to delve into it with him, and after getting into the car, I pulled the door shut. Just be quiet and drive, young Master Song. Completely unaware that Hui Yenche was standing nearby, clenching his car keys, watching us leave. There were many things to do at the company, and I was busy all morning. I had just come out of the conference room when my assistant came up to me and winked. Director Jiang, Attorney Hua is here. Comrade Lao Jiang is the most hard-working person among the nouveau riche, having accumulated a mountain of certificates. His company is so strict that even flies have to clock in on time. I couldn't stand working for him, so, after graduating from university, I set up my own business and created this media company with a 4-day work week. Hui Yenche has been here twice before, trying to persuade me to go home early and help Lao Jiang, but looking at his figure wrapped in a suit, my eyes glazed over, my thoughts slowed down, and I couldn't listen at all. Where is he? I asked. The assistant winked at me ambiguously. In your office. Good tea and water have already been sent in. President Jiang, when will Barrister Hua become our second-in-command? Taking a light breath, I pushed her gossiping head away. Take it to the reception room next time. When I'm not here, don't let anyone enter the office casually. As soon as I finished speaking, the assistant's expression froze. She knows I have impure thoughts about Hui Yenche, so she subconsciously gives him preferential treatment. It's not her fault. Was I too obvious, causing trouble for each other? All right. Why are you making that face? I wasn't criticizing you. The assistant remained silent for a long time. I followed her gaze and saw Hui Yenche standing at the door with a dazed expression. With his long legs and narrow waist, he had a figure that usually exuded presence, but at this moment, he looked like he could barely stand. Che Ge, I called out to him, stepping closer, but before I could reach him, Hui Yenche forced a smile. I suddenly remembered I have something to do. I'll go first. With that, he strode quickly towards the door. However, the next second, he stumbled over the greenery on both sides of the corridor, one hand landing squarely on a cactus. Hui Yenche's pupils constricted, and before he could react, a figure suddenly darted out from beside him. Su Qingqing grabbed Hui Yenche's hand, quickly plucked out the thorns, and was about to put his wound in her mouth to suck. System, didn't you say that the female lead's man is off limits to others? What's wrong with her? I questioned frantically. The system was silent for 2 seconds before retorting acerbically, Dear host, Su Qingqing is the female lead of this novel. Su Qingqing is the daughter of my family's live-in nanny. Before the age of 15, she fed pigs and chopped firewood with her grandparents in the mountains. After her parents divorced at 15, she came to work at my house with her mother. My dad has a soft heart and, seeing her as pitiful, sent her to the same school as me. However, Su Qingqing didn't appreciate it. She had only transferred to the school for 2 days when she stole the class fees that the class monitor had just collected. When we found out it was her through the surveillance video, she stubbornly argued, her face full of resentment. 50 yuan is nothing to you, but it's my food money for 3 days. Everyone looked at each other, and after discussing, they decided that she didn't need to pay the class fee, but only needed to return the class fees of others. But Su Qingqing still refused. She said she had lost the money and asked us to forgive her. Seeing her eyes full of tears, we couldn't bear to blame her. But not long after, Su Qingqing brought a hairpin worth 5,000 yuan to school to show off. Someone recognized the hairpin as expensive and pressed Su Qingqing to ask if she had bought the hairpin with the class funds. Su Qingqing refused to admit it, leaving the teacher no choice but to call her parents. In front of so many people, Su Qingqing burst into tears, trying to emotionally blackmail her mother. You earn 30,000 a month now. What's wrong with spending some money to buy me a hair clip? I like this hair clip. I said I won't return it. And I won't. In her early years, Su's mother borrowed a lot of money from relatives. Although her salary is high now, she still has to live frugally to pay off her debts. Seeing Su Qingqing being so insensible, Su's mother was filled with regret and pleaded as she grabbed my hand. Jiang, you are a good child. Can you lend Auntie 5,000 yuan first? Jiang, I'm begging you. Su Qingqing felt ashamed of her mother for embarrassing her and broke free from the crowd to stand on the roof. You can't give me anything I want, so why did you give birth to me, just so I could suffer with you? A person like you doesn't deserve to be a mother at all. The mother Su fainted from anger. After finally being revived by a classmate CPR, she frantically kowtowed to Su Qingqing. Don't jump, I'm begging you as your mother. Please don't jump, you want a hairpin. I'll sell my blood to buy it for you, Qingqing. Please don't jump. Things have escalated to this point. The classmates looked at each other, having no choice but to accept the loss. Soon, the monthly exam arrived, and Su Qingqing, with her binder in hand, was ready to make a splash. But when the results came out, the school once again summoned Su's mother, Mrs. Su, before the exam. We discovered that someone had broken into the office to look at the test papers. So we changed to new papers overnight. Su Qingqing is the only student in the entire sophomore year who wrote the answers from the old test paper onto the new test paper. For these answers, she forced a male student in the freshman year to break into a room and steal, and after the incident, she even claimed that the boy did it willingly. She's young, but she's unscrupulous in achieving her goals. We can't teach her. Su's mother was in tears, still wanting to plead for mercy. Su Qingqing raised her chin proudly. Expel me if you want. You better not regret it. After Su Qingqing ostentatiously left the school, the boy who stole the exam papers for her also quickly dropped out. Later, Su Qingqing pleaded with old Jiang, asking him to give her a job. Old Jiang thought for a while and had her work as a nanny with her mother, cleaning the house. However, Su Qingqing fell from the 3rd floor of the villa while trying to steal my jewelry. She broke her leg and, after being sent back by the doctor, lay directly in front of my door, cursing. Jiang, you are a venomous snake. A necklace means nothing to you, yet you had to open the door while I was borrowing it. You did it on purpose. You deliberately scared me, trying to kill me. Jiang, what kind of grudge do you have against me? Why do you have to torment me like this? And last time, you clearly could have covered my class fees. Why didn't you? Did you only feel satisfied watching me get ridiculed by my classmates? Old Jiang, who rushed back after hearing the news, was terrified. After calling me over to understand what exactly happened, he directly fired Su's mother and Su Qingqing. He said that people like that have no bottom line and it's best not to provoke them. I deeply agree. Even now, I still can't understand what Su Qingqing did, but the system actually says she's the female lead. The female lead in the novels I understand can be poor and pursue the material things or love they want. But all of this should never be built on stealing from or hurting those around you. Hui Yanqie liked her and guarded her for a lifetime for her sake, even at the cost of killing me to ensure Su Qingqing's happiness. Narrowing my eyes slightly, I sneered inwardly. Has he gone mad? Or has the world gone mad? I stepped forward, about to separate Su Qingqing and Hui Yanqie. But the system in my mind suddenly issued a sharp burst, accompanied by a huge electric current. This is an important node where the villain falls in love with the heroine at first sight. Host, you can't disturb it. if you change the plot, you and the villain will be obliterated by the heavenly Tao. I tried my best to control myself, so as not to lose my composure due to the electric current running around in my body, but, under these circumstances, Hui Yanche fell in love with Su Qingqing at first sight. The speed of pulling out cactus needles, forcibly stepping forward, I pulled Hui Yanche behind me and stared directly at Su Qingqing's greasy and wretched face. Is your saliva very clean? If you love to lick so much, why don't you go lick a public toilet? Wouldn't that be more flavorful? Su Qingqing was stunned for a moment, then righteously and sternly said, Miss Jiang, you can mistreat Hui Yanche, but you must also accept others saving him. He's injured so badly. If it's not treated promptly, it will leave a scar. Su Qingqing was full of indignation, like a warrior who wasn't afraid to die. I narrowed my eyes at her, a heavy sense of confusion swirling in my heart. Is this really the female lead? How could the real female lead come up and lick a man's hand right away? However, the system, which always spoke up for Su Qingqing, was silent this time, as if it were dead. I will take care of his injuries, no need for you to worry. With that, I pulled Hui Yanche and left. Su Qingqing, however, roared behind me, her eyes full of certainty. Jiang Yu, do you think you're so great? Why won't you listen to the injured person's opinion, just because you have a good dad? I really don't understand her logic. Closing my eyes, I turned to Hui Yanche and asked, whose side are you on? I let him choose. But when Hui Yanche really stood next to Su Qingqing, despair overwhelmed me. Could it be that there really is such a thing as the heavenly Tao and the protagonist's halo in this world? Host, it's normal for the villain to fall in love with the female lead. It's really troublesome if he falls in love with you. Everything is on the right track now. You don't have to worry about being obliterated, and you can still have some fun. How great is that? The second week after an unpleasant breakup with Hui Yanche, the system reminded me to go to Cloud Pavilion Bar tonight, because the most important male lead in the novel, the domineering female CEO and her 3 men, will appear here tonight, and I, the vicious female supporting character, will fall in love with the male lead at first sight in the bar, even disbanding my harem for him. But where would I get a harem? Dear host, your company's male streamers are notoriously numerous. Haven't you been with them? The system's tone was lewd. I frowned and said seriously, I run a legitimate media company. I don't do that kind of thing. But the system laughed. Darling host, you can do whatever you want, because whether you do it or not, as long as in the female lead's eyes, you and them are having an affair, then you and them are indeed having an affair. As it spoke, the system giggled. I was speechless at her statement, but upon further reflection, in Su Qingqing's eyes, my not helping her cover the cost of her shift, not letting her steal, and even not helping her hide the truth from my father, and so on and so forth, a series of things that I thought were normal, in her opinion. Weren't they just targeting her? If that's the case, then I am indeed worthy of the title of villainous female supporting character. A certain inspiration flashed quickly through my mind. I tried to grasp it, but the system's exclamation completely disrupted my thoughts. Darling host, the male lead has appeared. Quickly unleash your charm on him. I narrowed my eyes and looked in the direction the system indicated. The male protagonist, Zhou Sun, dressed in black, indeed appeared at the bar entrance. Zhou Sun had snow-white skin and a broken look in his eyes, a small pink mole on the tip of his nose, hesitant and shy, was incredibly cute. Even if the system hadn't told me, I probably would have recognized him as the male protagonist at first glance, because he was just too beautiful. So beautiful that he was on a completely different level from the people around him, yet even someone like him, needing to drown his sorrows in alcohol, was only doing so because he saw Su Qingqing's chat history with another man. In that moment, he couldn't accept sharing Su Qingqing with anyone else, so, having just sat down, he kept drinking one glass after another. In a matriarchal novel, the bar at night was full of women on the hunt. Zhou Sun thought he was being quiet by not making a sound. But he didn't realize that other people's eyes were constantly shifting over his face, a prelude to a hungry wolf pouncing on its prey. I've already seen him. Can we go now? It's getting late, and I want to finish the plot as soon as possible and go home to sleep. The system, however, was very regretful. You can, but Zhou Sun is about to be humiliated, a beauty in distress. Aren't you interested, dear host? I almost choked. unable to catch my breath, who was humiliated. The system said matter-of-factly, "Zhou Sun, of course, otherwise, how could someone as proud as him be willing to marry the female lead at the same time as two other men?" Unable to understand this logic, I angrily left. However, once in the car, my mood still couldn't settle down. Even in a novel, you shouldn't have to suffer like this just to make the male lead accept the female lead's infidelity, right? Besides, Zhou Sun in front of me is a living person. When I rushed back to the bar with the golf club, Zhou Sun was already drunk, his eyes were glazed, and he grabbed a woman in her 40s, calling out, "Ching Ching." The woman's face was full of smiles, and after exchanging glances with her friends, she wanted to take him away. Bang! I slammed a pool cue on the table, shaking the entire bar. "I'm taking this one, you guys go somewhere else." The women exchanged glances and moved closer to me, seeing that I was going to snatch him away. "Little sister," the older sisters saw him first. "If you want to play, you'll have to wait your turn." Not wanting to waste any more words, I took out a stack of bills from my wallet. "He's someone I know. Ladies, please go have fun somewhere else." The good thing about being a nouveau riche is not feeling the pinch when throwing money around. The women took the money and quickly left. Only the system suddenly released an electric current to warn me about meddling. "Host, even if you save him, when Zhou Sun wakes up in your house tomorrow morning, he will still feel dirty. You are wasting your effort." Squinting, I finally grasped the fleeting inspiration in my mind. So, things don't have to happen completely. As long as the important nodes are acted out according to the plot, the same effect can be achieved. For example, when Zhou Sun woke up in a strange house the day after getting drunk, there's clearly a part of me that can't stand it. But because the beginning and the end completely match the original plot, therefore, the system and Su Qingqing will still judge him as tainted. What does this even mean? Bug, for my 18th birthday, Lao Jiang gifted me a villa. I've been staying there lately, trying to avoid seeing Hui Yanqie. Come to think of it, Hui Yanqie and I haven't seen each other in a long time, so when I helped the drunken Zhou Sun out of the car, only to run into Hui Yanqie waiting at the door, a strange sense of guilt inexplicably arose in my heart. The night was dim, the pale moonlight shone on Hui Yanqie's face, making him look even more gaunt. The second Hui Yanqie saw me get out of the car, he was smiling, but then, he saw Zhou Sun passed out in the passenger seat. The innocent smile dried up on his face. For a moment, I thought I saw murder in Hui Yanqien's eyes. However, when I looked closely, the thing disappeared again, as if it had never existed. "Did you need something?" I asked first, but Hui Yanqie answered irrelevantly. "Who is he? Have you been with him this whole time?" "Jiang Yu, if I hadn't come today, what were you planning to do with him?" Getting closer, I noticed that Hui Yanqie's eyes were bloodshot. He stared intently into my eyes, the veins on his hands clenched at his sides. If the system hadn't told me that he liked Su Qingqing and wanted to stay with her for life, this appearance, it really looks like catching a lover in the act. "Brother Che," I said with a sneer, patting his face, "what do you think a single man and a single woman can do together? Is there any need to play innocent at this point?" For the first time, I realized that my feelings for Hui Yanqie were not pure. It was the day I got my first business deal in my studio. That day it rained, and Hui Yanqie appeared before me, soaked to the bone and holding flowers. Song Ling was incessantly trying to persuade me to go on a trip to Northern Europe with him. "You've worked so hard for so long, you deserve to relax." "Jiang Yu," Hui Yanqie waved at me from outside the crowd, his dark pupils and the bouquet in his hand piercing me at the same time. "Congratulations." The rain poured down, soaking Hui Yanqie to the point where even his eyelashes were wet. I looked at him, my heart pounding, unable to hear what he was saying. It wasn't until Song Ling took the bouquet from my arms that the buzzing in my ears finally stopped. "Aren't you scared? What are you doing out in this weather? And, stop with these impractical things in the future." I blurted out whatever came to mind while snatching the flowers from Song Ling's hand and taking a deep sniff. Not as fragrant as Hui Yanqie at all. For a long time after that, I followed Hui Yanqie around everywhere. Knowing he was tight on money, I'd invite him out, but only to the cheapest places. "Hui Yanqie, how about I teach you to swim?" I admit I had ulterior motives. But the moment Hui Yanqie nodded, I really thought he was interested in me too. The pool environment was a so-so, but when Hui Yanqie came out wrapped in a bath towel, I still felt the trip was worth it, until, this is like throwing dumplings into the pot, if I knew this place was so disgusting. I would have just gone to my villa in the suburbs. When Song Ling and a few friends showed up, Hui Yenche was practicing holding his breath in my arms. I wanted some alone time, winking to hint to Hui Yenche that he and I should hide in the corner, but Hui Yenche pushed me out. Jiang Yu, you play with them, I'm leaving first. After that, Hui Yenche taught himself how to swim. When I learned of this, I felt inexplicably upset. I thought, I have to confess, but Yuan Qing appeared again. On a stormy night when I made a special trip home early, Yuan Qing helped a drunken Hui Yenche through the door, introducing herself with a faint smile. Jiang, I'm Hui's new assistant. He helped me fend off a few drinks during the social event today. Do you think it would be convenient for me to come in and make him a cup of honey water? A clumsy attempt. As if letting her step into the house would also allow her to step into Hui Yenche's heart, I wouldn't make things difficult for a beauty. So I smiled and stepped back. In my heart, I thought Hui Yenche would reject this glass of honey water just like he had rejected the hangover soup I had offered him every time before, but what awaited me was Hui Yenche taking it from her hand and drinking it all in one gulp. So, when the system popped up and said I was the vicious female supporting character, I was already prepared for the female lead to be Yuan Qing. But it wasn't Yuan Qing, it was Su Qingqing, who came out of nowhere. Hui Yenche divided his heart in two, giving half to Su Qingqing and half to Yuan Qing. Didn't give it to me, so, on what grounds does he question me? The next day, when I left for work, Zhou Sun was gone from the sofa, looking at the surveillance footage. It was Hui Yenche who took Zhou Sun into the car last night. This villain of his is wholeheartedly dedicated to protecting the female lead's happiness. After watching the surveillance footage, the system chuckled and teased, "Darling host. No one in this novel can compete with the female lead, even if there were. If she changed the plot, the heavenly Tao would use every means to obliterate her, so you and Hui Yenche are destined to have no connection in this life. Instead of wasting your efforts on him, why not take a look at the male streamers in the company?" it said, giggling. I drained my glass of wine and, following the plot, went to flirt with the novel's male second lead, Jiang Lin. Jiang Lin is an art student. When he ordered takeout, he met Su Qingqing, the delivery person. Su Qingqing, overcome by lust, put something bad in his food. After the drug took effect, Jiang Lin thought he had been set up by a classmate and mistook Su Qingqing, who had come to save him, for a savior. He fell in love with Su Qingqing because of this. It wasn't until after the marriage that she discovered Su Qingqing was the one who drugged him back then. This crappy novel has no epilogue. The last sentence in the original text describing him is, Jiang Lin leaned tearfully into Su Qingqing's arms, gently chiding her arrogance. You can't lie to me anymore. Thinking of his and Su Qingqing's baby, Jiang Lin decided not to delve into the matter further. The implication was that he forgave her. Dear host, your task today is to buy Jiang Lin's paintings at a high price, attract his attention, and make the female lead unhappy. This sounded like something a villainous supporting character would do. I smiled, holding 2 wine glasses as I stood beside Jiang Lin. Have a sip, warm yourself up. Jiang Lin didn't dare. There were too many people in this world jealous of his talent. He had already been harmed once, and he absolutely couldn't let it happen a second time. Madam, are you here to see the paintings? I can help you with an introduction. Jiang Lin had a pair of deer-like eyes. He hadn't graduated yet and had the most instinctive respect for adults who came to see the paintings in suits. I smiled and said okay, my eyes sweeping over the red mark on his neck, my intuition telling me that Su Qingqing wouldn't be too far away. Sure enough, seeing me and Jiang Lin standing together, Su Qingqing, in her delivery uniform, walked in the next second. Jiang Yu, do you, a nouveau riche, even understand art? Art can't be bought with money. She was oblivious to how out of place she was, and didn't think Jiang Lin would be embarrassed by her. She just wanted to make me lose face. Jiang Yu, were you just looking at this, bathing in sunlight? What do you think? How much are you planning to spend on it? I looked at Jiang Lin's face, which was slowly turning pale as more and more people gathered around, and smiled. 200,000. Then do you believe I can buy it for 20? Su Qingqing was smug. Completely unaware of Jiang Lin's shock, an artist's first work almost determines his future path. if I spend 200,000 to buy Jiang Lin's painting, then every painting he makes in the future will be worth more than 200,000. Su Qingqing offered 20 yuan. She's using Jiang Lin's entire artistic career to spite me. What does the painter himself think? Seeing the situation was not good, the gallery owner quickly stood up to take charge. Jiang Lin looked at me, then at Su Qingqing, whose face said, "Why aren't you agreeing quickly?" His eyes were red, and after a long while, he said with humiliation, "I sold it to Miss Su." Su Qingqing won. She immediately had the painting taken down and thrown onto the construction site next door. Asphalt gradually covered the hope-filled, bathing in sunlight. Jiang Lin was almost in despair, but Su Qingqing burst into laughter. "Jiang Yu, you didn't expect this, did you? One day, I would be able to grind your face into the dirt. The things you can't buy for 200,000, I can buy for 20. Not only can I buy them, but I can also destroy them. Jiang Yu, what good is your money? You'll never be better than me." On the way home, the system comforted me as usual. "Sweetie host, it's perfectly normal for the female lead to slap the female supporting character in the face. If you feel embarrassed, I'll take you to other worlds when the task is completed." 3 months flew by. On the day of Su Qingqing's wedding, I followed the system's instructions and hired a car to lie in wait on Su Qingqing's inevitable route. Even in a female-dominant erotica novel, the onlookers were still stunned that she was marrying 3 men at once. During the rehearsal, the pastor stood in the middle of the stage, asking her husbands in turn according to the procedure, "Mr. Zhou, Mr. Jiang, Mr. Fu, are you willing to stay with Miss Su for the rest of your lives?" The scene was comical, but I couldn't laugh as I looked at the third male lead, half of his face hidden in the shadows. He looks so familiar, but I can't remember where I've seen him. "System, why haven't you arranged any scenes between me and the third male lead? Success is imminent, and the system's voice is very lazy. You've met him before, in high school." The female lead accepted the test answers given by male lead number 3 in order to get good grades, but he was too stupid and stole the wrong answers. When the matter was exposed, it implicated the female lead, causing her to be expelled from school. So, to atone for his sins, he simply dropped out of school with the female lead. But those answers were clearly stolen by Su Qingqing, who forced male lead number 3 to do it. These words from the system are probably only pleasing to Su Qingqing. After all, in this world, who could be more wicked than her? I chuckled, looking at the face of the third male lead, which had graced the honor roll countless times, and felt a pang in my heart. Everything in this world exists to serve the female lead. After Zhou Sun and Su Qingqing got together, he started a company for her. Jiang Lin is going to use his entire artistic career as a weapon for Su Qingqing to slap the female supporting character in the face. As for the male third, Fu Cheng, his life was ruined from the very beginning. After the 3 boys finished rehearsing, Su Qingqing finally woke up leisurely and got into the car from home to the wedding venue. "Host, the car you arranged is ready to crash now. This is your last task as the female supporting character. As long as you complete it, I will help you escape from the villain's revenge." The system repeated incessantly. Urged by it, I ordered the car to speed towards Su Qingqing. However, 500 meters away from Su Qingqing, my car was intercepted by a car that Hu Yanqing had prepared in advance. Su Qingqing didn't seem to know my methods. She successfully arrived at the wedding venue and held a wedding with 3 men. But I was knocked unconscious by a handkerchief. When I woke up again, all I could hear was the ebb and flow of the ocean waves. Hu Yanqi's revenge has come. System. In the darkness, I called out to the system, but it, which was usually so noisy, seemed to have disappeared completely. "System." The feeling of betrayal almost destroyed me. I roared, losing my composure, nearly begging, "System, where the hell have you been?" The system, having enjoyed my despair, used its usual tone to push me completely into the abyss. "Dear host, to die in order to highlight the female lead's happiness is the ultimate ending for a villainous supporting character. It's not my fault you called me." It turned on me and even giggled. However, it soon discovered that I, with my hands and feet bound and head lowered, was also laughing, even louder than it was. "All the plot points in the main story are finished. What makes you think I'll continue to be the female supporting character?" The system's laughter stopped abruptly, and it asked in disbelief, "What do you mean? You wanted me to drive into Su Qingqing, and I did. The female supporting character's ending is to be tied to the seaside by Hui Yanqi, and he did that too. Now, all the plot points that the female supporting character had to go through in the novel are over. You can't threaten me with obliteration anymore, can you? The system was momentarily speechless. But seeing Hui Yanqi walking towards me with a knife, it still laughed. Host. You have indeed completed the task, but I can't punish you anymore. The villain can. He will kill. Her voice stopped abruptly when she saw Hui Yanqi sitting on my lap. Why, the villain clearly chose the female lead at that time. Hui Yanqi did choose the female lead, but that was because of my prompting. In the years we spent together, I never called him Brother Che under normal circumstances. But ever since the system appeared and frequently threatened me with obliteration, I started calling him Brother Che. As perceptive as Hui Yanqi is, how could he not realize this problem? From beginning to end, everything we've done has just been cooperating with the system's performance. Hui Yanqi, tell Zhou Sun he can call the police. As the system doubted its existence, I reminded it with a smile. The system desperately tried to stop me, but it couldn't. I completed all the plot points she wanted me to complete, so she couldn't punish me anymore. Why would you do this? You'll kill me. At this moment, the system finally revealed its true colors. Su Qingqing roared frantically in my mind. Jiang Yu, when exactly did you find out? Whenever I talked to Su Qingqing, the usually noisy system that loved to praise the female lead would become unusually silent. This is inconsistent with her character design. Besides, in this world, apart from Su Qingqing herself blindly agreeing with herself, how could anyone else think she is good, now? The wedding that belonged to the female lead, the most glorious moment of her life, is over. Su Qingqing's female lead halo has disappeared, and she can no longer threaten anyone. Well then, the author hasn't started writing the extra chapters yet, so it's up to us supporting characters to write them. Su Qingqing is a fake female CEO, but her 3 men are all top-notch. Zhou Sun is the young master of the Zhou family. Jiang Lin's family fortune is also considerable. In the main text, they spare no resources to pave the way for the female lead. Now the world in the book will not collapse due to deviations from the plot. The first thing the two did after breaking free from the plot constraints was to beat up Su Qingqing and send her to prison. Su Qingqing's company is suspected of illegal operations. Su Qingqing herself has offended 3 more male leads and is destined to spend the rest of her life in prison. Su Qingqing once wanted to lick Hui Yanqi's fingers, but the rest of her life that she can foresee is destined to be spent being held down by her cellmates and licking the toilet. Solved the great scourge of Su Qingqing, I coughed softly and looked at Hui Yanqi, who was still sitting on me, playing with my fingers, not planning on letting go of me. You tied me up once, I tie you up once, isn't that fair? Hui Yanqi's voice was gloomy, muffled like he'd just been caught in a heavy rain. Yeah. During this time, you saved Zhou Sun, met Jiang Lin, and are even planning to help Fu Cheng. Which of them do you prefer? Or, do you still like Song Ling? Hui Yanqi's slender fingers slowly caressed my neck as he asked, seemingly casually, but I got goosebumps all over. I met with the 3 male leads to complete the plot and, where did his mind wander off to? Besides, when have I ever liked that idiot Song Ling? Brother Che, are you not afraid of me turning against you by talking like that? Who I like, do you really not know? The fingers that were tracing my neck suddenly paused. After a moment, Hui Yanqi's affectionate voice softly sounded. How serious are you? Is it just a fling before you dump me, or a temporary misjudgment of our feelings? Hui Yanqi didn't dare to gamble. He said, Jiang Yu, I can't stand you playing with me. Explanation is useless. I exerted force on my wrist, breaking free from the silk ribbon Hui Yanqi used to tie me, and wrapped him entirely in my arms. Hui Yanqi, I dare to marry you. Do you dare to marry me? Hui Yanqi's eyes suddenly widened. Really, when have I ever lied to you? But, what's going on between you and Yuan Qing? Continue from where you left off last time. This is a matriarchal novel. Hui Yanqi can't beat me in physical strength. Seeing that I'm serious, his ears instantly turned red. He stammered as he spoke, I was just asking Yuan Qing for advice on how to pursue you, because I always mess things up. Seeing me silent, his eyes also turned red. Yeah, did I mess things up this time too? The truth is both funny and absurd. I pulled Hui Yanqi to lie down on the big bed in the seaside cabin. if you want to please me, just ask me. If you're not good, I'll have to punish you. The night was gentle, the moon hung high. Thanks to everyone's joint efforts, from now on, there will be no more supporting characters in this world forced to be villains just to highlight the main character. The end. Next story coming up. The whole world knows that Shinmyukin is not interested in women and has a fiancé. During the years I studied abroad, I never heard any rumors about him, but when I saw Shinmyukin with a woman by his side, my heart skipped a beat. Frowning, I rubbed my temples after finishing. CEOs dote on, don't think about escaping. My adorable wife, in one sitting. I don't know if it's a coincidence or deliberate. The vicious female supporting character's name in the book is my name, Ling Shui-ro. The other supporting characters are also people around me. All the vicious female supporting characters in CEO novels end up with terrible fates. Naturally, I'm no different in this melodramatic novel, according to the plot of the novel. If nothing unexpected happens, Su Xiaoxiao and Shinmyukin will end up in bed together at today's engagement banquet. I scoffed, feeling inexplicably absurd. The whole world knows that Shinmyukin is not one for women and has a fiancé to whom he was betrothed at birth. During the years I studied abroad, I never heard any rumors about him, but when I saw Shinmyukin with a woman by his side, my heart skipped a beat. Who is the woman next to young Master Shen? Didn't they say that young Master Shen never gets close to women? This is the engagement banquet between the Ling and Shen families. It might not be appropriate for young Master Shen to bring a woman here. I stood under the spotlight. The guests were all excited. With a watching the drama attitude, I recalled my ending in the book. Shinmyukin, who loathed me, had people dismember me and throw me into the sea to feed the fish. My limbs ached faintly, as if they had really been chopped off by a cleaver. I forced a polite and distant smile. Reach out to that fragile woman. Hello, I am Shinmyukin's fiancé. You are Su Xiao, right? Canines grind her name. She stood timidly beside the man, her hand awkwardly clutching her dress. She seemed timid and weak compared to my overwhelming aura. To outsiders, I appeared aggressive, but I just wanted to confirm if she was Su Xiaoxiao from the book. If she was the Su Xiaoxiao who made Shinmyukin love her so much that he was willing to annex the Shen family, causing my family to be ruined. The woman hesitated, her lips moving slightly, before tentatively shaking my hand. The moment our fingers touched, an inexplicable and intense hatred surged within me. My mind began to play out scenarios of using the most vicious means to break her spine and dignity. Even though I knew that the person I should hate the most was the man beside her, my heart skipped a beat, and I quickly pulled my hand back. This made the man next to Su Xiaoxiao look displeased. Shuero, I'm just bringing my new secretary to see the world. She's timid and knows nothing about socializing and entertaining, so I wanted her to learn from you. Oh, with the Shen family's size and financial resources, you couldn't find a capable and efficient secretary. I raised my eyebrows, my eyes full of confusion. Shinmyukin's words sound nice, and if it were a normal business gathering, I naturally wouldn't say anything, but this is our engagement banquet. Who can tolerate their fiancé bringing someone else to interfere between them at their engagement banquet? Even if it's a business marriage, there should at least be some respect. Shui-ro, you have to give the newcomer a chance. No one learns everything from the start, so, just to give the new employee a chance, you trampled on my dignity and bottom line at the engagement banquet. The two seemed surprised that I would say such sharp words. Su Xiaoxiao's face turned pale, and she hurriedly waved her hand. Ling, Miss Ling, there is nothing between Mr. Shen and me, no relationship at all. The man narrowed his eyes, silently stared at me, with some displeasure between his brows. The atmosphere was as frozen and stagnant as ice. Both sets of parents hurried to smooth things over. Shui-ro, don't be angry. Mu Chen probably brought his secretary because he was too nervous. Mother Shen held my hand and gently patted the back of it. No matter what, you are our family's daughter-in-law. Mom also whispered in my ear. Shui-ro, men in high positions are always surrounded by beautiful women, but Mu Chen only has this one woman. You can just find a reason to get rid of her later. Your mother-in-law is on your side, so won't you be in charge in the future? Looking at me surrounded by everyone, Su Xiaoxiao's eyes were filled with unconcealed envy and longing. It's not hard to understand her feelings at this moment. If Su Xiaoxiao is really the female lead in the story, then her life is full of hardships. relying on her younger brother since childhood. She struggled for life every day and never experienced family warmth. Therefore, the little bit of affection that Shinmyukin bestowed, like love for a pet, made her constantly fall deeper. In the end, she found it sweet and couldn't escape, doomed to be a man's accessory for life. The scene of me being the center of attention only made her feel more desolate and downcast, but she didn't see that no one present cared about my feelings. They were only worried about whether the engagement banquet could proceed smoothly. Mother Shen and my mother both just advised me not to dwell on it. No one asked Shinmyukin to apologize to me. As for the pillars of the two families, Father Shen and my father, they naturally sat firmly on the sidelines, watching coldly. My position in their hearts is clear. I smiled, maintaining an elegant and graceful demeanor, while feeling desolate inside. Mom, I understand. Mu Chen was bewitched and temporarily lost his senses. I won't hold it against him. The man being talked about didn't realize his mistake at all. Instead, there was a hint of anger and impatience. Ling Shuero, I'm very busy. I turned down a lot of appointments to be here at this banquet. My expression remained unchanged, my tone slightly mocking. Me too, Shen Mu Chen. To fulfill the engagement, I gave up the opportunity to develop my career abroad. Is your time valuable? But mine isn't. Shinmyukin's eyes gradually turned cold. I sneered inwardly. Since everyone is so busy, let's end this banquet quickly. Suppressing my disgust, I hooked my arm through his and walked towards the center of the lobby. My smile was frozen on my face like a mask. The man on the other side wore a cold expression, unwilling to even maintain a proper, presentable facade. Seeing him like that, I couldn't be bothered to wear a mask anymore. She faced the guests below the stage with a blank expression. We didn't look like an engaged couple at all, more like enemies who loathed each other. After everything was over, Su Xiaoxiao disappeared without a trace. Shinmyukin left in a hurry, and I asked the waiter for a blanket to put on, and walked unhurriedly towards the gate. Sure enough, beside the artificial hill in the front yard, I saw Su Xiaoxiao, her face frighteningly red. According to the plot of the book, Su Xiaoxiao had been drugged at this time. Next, she would be dragged away and almost suffer humiliation, but by a twist of fate, she ended up rolling around with Shen Muchen, deepening their relationship, and I, the innocent and incompetent fiancé, was ridiculed for no reason. I was also wrongly accused by Shinmyukin of being the mastermind behind the drugging, but I won't let it happen. Da. The sudden sound of footsteps alerted Su Xiaoxiao. She saw that beautiful and dignified woman, still radiating an imposing aura. Was it her who drugged her? Su Xiaoxiao wanted to run, but she fell to the ground. The woman approached her slowly with elegant steps. The delicate surface of the high heels glittered, reflecting her tearful face. Su Xiaoxiao's eyes were red, and tears swirled within them, weak and pitiful, like a cat abandoned by its owner. Miss Ling, please, let me go. The second half of the sentence was choked back. The woman crouched down, the pad of her index finger gently touching her lips. Shoo, if you don't want to be ruined, don't make a sound. Su Xiaoxiao blinked blankly. The next second, the woman took her hand and pulled her up. Her vision went dark, and she was pulled into a warm, soft embrace. A cool and rich fragrance lingered around her nose, like a secluded orchid blooming in the snow. Hold on tight, don't let go. A clear and melodious voice came from above. Su Xiaoxiao's consciousness was crowded out by the constant waves of desire. She didn't even have time to be confused. Obediently holding onto the slender waist she could encircle with her arms, she followed the steps of the person in her arms, slowly walking outwards. The thick blanket completely covered her, like a barrier. She heard a strange man's voice outside the barrier, and couldn't help but tense up. Miss Ling, have you seen Mr. Shen's new secretary? I just saw her staggering that way. Thank you. The sound of footsteps faded away, and the moment her tense nerves relaxed, her body began to slide downwards. Waves of heat surged from her lower abdomen like a storm, and she was barely holding on. Just then, a pair of slender but strong arms wrapped around her waist, steadily supporting her body. But then, that arm kept exerting force, as if to break her waist. The pain brought Su Xiaoxiao back to her senses somewhat. She then realized that she was being enveloped in Ling Shuero's arms. Not knowing where the other party was taking her, she was terrified, but it was too late to run. Ling Shuero opened the car door and shoved her into the car. She feebly pounded on the car door, her throat hoarse and unable to cry for help. Suddenly, a blanket was thrown over her. A bottle of water was offered from the side. Su Xiao looked at the expressionless woman and obediently took the water. Drink it, the whole bottle. Su Xiao watched her red lips open and close, her mind as sluggish as a rusty machine, unable to process what was happening. She blankly held the water bottle. Say it again, drink it. The woman began to grow impatient. Although Su Xiao wanted to comply, she didn't have the strength to open the bottle cap. Ling Xiao seemed to remember as well. She helped her open the bottle cap. The cool water went down her throat, taking away the heat from her body. Su Xiao felt her mind clear up a bit. I was wondering why you didn't take your family's car back. Turns out it wasn't convenient. The woman in the driver's seat raised her sunglasses and glanced back. Ugh, I don't know what's up with that Shen Yukin, having a great beauty like you, and he's still sneaking around me. Don't make cheating sound so nice. All right, Miss Ling, I was wrong, she chuckled playfully, handing me a pair of flats. Put these on, those heels of yours look uncomfortable. A warmth spread through me as I slipped on the shoes. The woman in the driver's seat focused on the road. She is my only best friend, Su Yingzhu, in the wealthy circle full of interests and calculations. She is the only one I trust, when everyone else ignores the person who made a mistake. Only she sees the truth and scolds them. Is that Shen Yukin out of his mind? Can't he read the room? Never had any scandals before. Thought he was a reliable guy, but in the end, he's just like most men, can't control himself. So pissed. What were those people doing, nagging at you? They should have dragged that dog of a man in front of you to apologize. Shuero, seeing how upset you were at the engagement banquet, I'm seriously getting scared of marriage. Su Yingzhu took us to her private villa. She had secretly bought the villa with several months of savings. No one knew about this place. Whenever Su Yingzhu didn't want to face her family's marriage pressure, she would run away to hide in this villa. The car stopped in the garage. She turned her head, glanced at the weak and helpless Su Xiao, and pursed her lips. What's wrong with her? Me? I don't know who she offended to warrant such a vile act of revenge, and it had to be at my engagement banquet. Seeing that Su Xiao had already finished a bottle of water, I opened another one for her. She shook her head, tears streaming down her face, her voice choked with sobs. I really can't drink anymore. Drink it even if you can't. Seeing her holding the water bottle, not making a move for a long time, I pinched her chin and forced the water down her throat. The cold water choked her, and she coughed incessantly. Clear liquid spilled from the corners of her lips, soaking a large patch of her clothes. The woman frowned, her expression pained. Watching her suffer, a strange sense of pleasure welled up within me. I felt as if my emotions were being manipulated by something. I quickly let go, allowing Su Yingzhu to give Su Xiao water. Me, Su Yingzhu had never seen such a scene before, but she accepted it well. Rubbing her hands together in anticipation, in her condition, she needs to drink more water to dilute the effects of the medicine. Forcing yourself is very torturous. Of course, I could just find any man to solve her problem. However, as a woman myself, I think that kind of punishment is too disgusting. I have better means of revenge. Su Yingzhu took over and started force-feeding Su Xiao water. After downing another bottle of water, Su Xiao's stomach was bulging. Su Yingzhu and I supported her arms on either side, leading her to the restroom. After expelling the toxins, Su Xiao's complexion improved somewhat. Her cheeks weren't as red, and her skin temperature had dropped considerably. I wet a towel and wiped her body. Perhaps she was too tired, as Su Xiao slowly closed her eyes and fell asleep. After doing all this, I took a car back. When I got home, it was completely dark. At the same time, a car entered the villa. The car door opened, and a leather shoe stepped out. Looking up along the slender legs, a tailored and straight suit tightly wrapped the man's body. His hair was meticulously combed back, and his face was utterly indifferent. He glanced up and met my eyes, his gaze quickly darting away. He nodded, considering it a greeting. Ling Yan is my brother, but our relationship isn't exactly close. We only exchange a few words occasionally. He is destined to be the heir of the Ling family, and his schedule is packed every day, leaving him little time to spend with me. After returning from studying abroad for several years, we're practically strangers. Today, He didn't even bother to show up at my engagement banquet. I opened my mouth, but seeing his indifference, the greeting stuck in my throat. But I remembered the original plot. Ling Yan looked at my corpse, his face expressionless, but his body was trembling unconsciously. In the end, he was the only one who wholeheartedly held a funeral for me and avenged me. I immediately forced a smile. Bro, just got off work. You work so hard. Yes, Ling Yan nodded, not even sparing me a glance. He strode past me with his long legs. I took a deep breath and chased after him. How could you not even spare time for your sister's engagement banquet? Ling Yan paused slightly. He raised his eyelids and glanced at me. Oh, sorry, I'll remember next time. I'll remember next time. How many engagement banquets do you want me to have? Will he forget my wedding too? And then say he'll remember next time. I was speechless for a moment, and shut my mouth to silently follow behind him. They entered the house one after the other. My mother saw Ling Yan in the living room, bypassed me, and went straight to greet him. Ling Yan, you're back. I asked the servants to make chicken soup. Come and have a bowl to nourish yourself. Don't wear yourself out. My mother smiled kindly. This kind of treatment is usually reserved for Ling Yan, but to me, he would only ask with a cold face how my piano studies were progressing, demanding that I be elegant and generous, always mindful of etiquette, to be a wife worthy of Shen Yukin. Ling Yan sighed softly. Leave it, I don't want to drink it. Okay, we'll drink later. Mom hurried forward, wanting to take the coat Ling Yan was taking off, but Ling Yan turned and handed it to the servant. I didn't stop and walked upstairs. Suddenly, a man's voice came from behind. How did it go? Was the engagement banquet successful? Are you satisfied with him? Is he the partner you've always dreamed of? These two sentences are almost more than he said to me in a week. Looks like me taking the initiative is actually useful. I turned around, shaking my head with a long face. Not good. He brought a woman with him. Hearing this, Ling Yan frowned, waited for ages, but he couldn't squeeze out a word of comfort. He could talk up a storm with those clients, but he couldn't even say a kind word to his own sister. I turned and went upstairs, a little disappointed. I thought he was different from mom and dad and would really care about me. Looks like I was wrong. My death only made him feel a little guilty, so he wanted to make up for it. He still ignores me as usual. This kind of compensation is the most useless. People are already dead. Nothing can bring them back. I took a shower in the bathroom and came out to the sound of knocking. Ling Yan stood outside the door, looking at me with my wet hair. Why aren't you drying your hair? He paused, then added, you'll catch a cold easily. I rubbed my hair with a towel, not really caring. I just took a shower. Then you should dry your hair first. Then, while I was still confused, Ling Yan went back to his room. He came back as soon as I finished drying my hair, also changed into some casual clothes. Is it okay if I come in and chat? I stepped aside to let him in, of course. Ling Yan walked into my bedroom, glancing around, sitting gingerly on the fluffy couch. Entering my bedroom for the first time, I felt an indescribable restraint. I slammed the door shut, and he suddenly stood up. He walked to the door and opened it halfway. I secretly raised my eyebrows. Although I know he's trying to avoid suspicion, isn't he being a bit too nervous? Ling Yan went straight to the point, without any pleasantries. Regarding Shen Yukin's matter, what are your own thoughts? Me. What if I said, I don't want to marry? Ling Yan stared into my eyes, leaning in slightly, his pupils dark and deep like ink. It was as if an interviewer was questioning an interviewee. Have you thought this through carefully, brother? He dares to humiliate me like this at his engagement banquet. I can't imagine what it will be like after the wedding. It's possible he'll resent me for taking his wife's place. If I marry him, I'll probably only be bullied. Ling Yan was silent for a moment. I remember you used to seem to like him quite a bit, before, did I? I pondered carefully, recalling my childhood naivety. I was stunned by Shen Yukin's looks and said I wanted to marry him when we first met. It was my shallowness before. Now I have higher demands. At least loyalty and respect are a must, and Shen Yukin violated both of these. Children's words are not to be taken seriously. Children's words are not to be taken seriously, brother. I was too young at that time and hadn't formed my own values. Now, I can tell you with certainty that I don't like Shen Yukin. I even dislike him a little. Okay, I understand. Ling Yan nodded. The corners of my lips couldn't help but curve into a faint smile. He stood up and patted my head. This was the first time I had ever seen him show such a gentle side, in front of outsiders. He was always the stern and serious CEO. Even with my parents, I maintained my steady and aloof persona. I blinked, stunned in place. As he turned to leave, I couldn't help but tug on his sleeve. "Brother, will you help me?" Ling Yan looked at me and spoke without the slightest hesitation. "Of course, I will," I smiled brightly. "I'm relieved to hear you say that. Well, I've been a little short on money lately, bro. Could you invest in your little sister?" Ling Yan's eyes flashed with astonishment. He thought I would ask him to help break off the engagement. Unexpectedly, I just wanted money. These past years I've been studying abroad. My parents, in order to force me to return, basically haven't sent me any money. The tuition and living expenses were still paid with the allowance Ling Yan gave me, without sufficient financial support. It's easy to be manipulated. I'm definitely calling off this ridiculous marriage, but if I don't marry Shen Yukin, my parents will force me into a marriage with someone else. I need to leave myself a way out. Ling Yan was very generous and immediately gave me a card. "Here are 50 million. Let me know if it's not enough." "It's enough, thank you, brother." Ling Yan nodded, his expression returning to indifference from the brief interaction just now. I knew he was actually kind-hearted despite his cold exterior. He wouldn't say comforting words, but he would silently provide practical help. Thinking about it, I felt a little guilty. I still wanted to say something to him before he left, racking my brains. I only managed to ask one question. "Aren't you curious about what I want to do with this money, brother?" Ling Yan followed my words and asked, "Then what do you want to use it for?" "Me, I don't feel secure without some money in hand." Ling Yan, "Yeah, you're right. Me, maybe I could invest in some projects, or start a business. What do you think?" "Ling Yan, you can ask me about anything you want to consult on." Ling Yan's robotic words left me speechless for a moment. I really couldn't think of any other topics. "Okay, brother, thank you." I waved with a smile, watching the man leave. I strongly suspect that Ling Yan is my phone's customer service robot come to life. It's strange because Ling Yan and I had a good relationship when we were kids, and we used to talk endlessly every day. Ling Yan took special care of me, bringing me snacks and toys every day. He would even tell me bedtime stories to lull me to sleep. When did we start to drift apart? It seems like it was when I jokingly said I wanted to marry Ling Yan when I was little. I was only 6 or 7 years old then. I didn't even understand what marriage meant. Mom's expression turned terrifying in an instant. Her face was as dark as the bottom of a pot, scaring the tears out of me. After that, they never let me and Ling Yan be alone together again. When I got older, I met Shen Yukin. Teenage girls are at their most innocent, naive, and a little childish and superficial. There's no doubt that Shen Yukin's looks are top-notch, to the point that I overlooked his inner self. I pointed at Shen Yukin and my parents. "If there has to be a marriage alliance, can it be with that handsome guy?" Shen Yukin didn't refuse at the time, and that's how our engagement was set. Su Yingzhu sent me a message. She found the surveillance footage of the hotel staff drugging me. In the original plot, it was Xia Mingzhu, the daughter of the Xia family, who bribed the waiter to administer the drug. Even without the plot, based on my guess, she is the most suspicious. She and I don't get along. We're always competing in our circle, even resorting to some despicable tactics, paying off my roommate to isolate me, falsely accusing me of bullying classmates. To steal the spotlight at the campus gala, she shredded my costume an hour before the performance. To compete for a spot in the international piano competition, she hired someone to kidnap me, making sure I missed the competition. Later, we fell for the same man. She deserves some credit for my decision to study abroad. I'm not someone to be trifled with either. Being schemed against naturally calls for revenge. I wore a polite smile and rang the doorbell of the Xia family villa. "It's the young lady from the Ling family. Who are you looking for, Mrs.?" Xia's voice came from the electronic device by the door. "I'm looking for Miss Xia Mingzhu." "I'm sorry, Miss Ling. Mingzhu isn't home. She went shopping with her friends today. If there's anything, I'll have Zhu visit you another day." Madame Xia is aware of the discord between her daughter and me, so she's very cautious, but unfortunately, her daughter didn't inherit her intelligence. "Who said I wasn't here?" "I am here, Mom, let her in." Another delicate, sweet voice came. "Zhu, don't say anything you shouldn't later." Madame Xia whispered her instructions. Before long, the main gate opened. I smoothly entered the Xia family villa. Xia Mingzhu tossed her long, golden, wavy hair, her expression arrogant. Isn't this Ling Shuiro? What are you doing here looking for me? You're already engaged, shouldn't you be with Brother Shen right now, cultivating your relationship? Oh, I forgot, Brother Shen seems to have found a pauper, unwilling to even give you a pleasant look. You have no idea how ridiculous you looked at the engagement banquet. Xia Mingzhu covered her lips and chuckled, deep mockery in her eyes. Indeed, he chose a pauper, and didn't choose you. I retorted indifferently, but this seemed to hit a nerve with her. Her face twisted for a moment. I didn't quite understand. She probably sees things more clearly in China than I do. Shen Yukin is simply not someone to rely on. He is the eldest young master of the Shen family, so perhaps he does have some exceptional qualities, but some fundamental issues are intolerable to any normal person. Xia Mingzhu is a beloved young lady at home. Does she really like to fight for things so much? She competed with me when she was young. Does that mean she'll have to compete with all sorts of mistresses after marriage? What are you looking at? Did you come all this way just to deliberately mock me? Heh, you should think about how to win back Shen Yukin's heart from that poor woman before you come to mock me. I whispered in her ear. You did it, didn't you? Xia Mingzhu's pupils shrank, and she took a few steps back. She stared at me intently. I don't know what you're talking about. This reaction revealed her true colors with just a slight probing. I thought after all these years, she might have grown a brain. I smirked. Stop pretending. I know your tricks all too well. I glanced at the servants in the living room. I pulled her hand and went straight up to the second floor. What are you doing? Xia Mingzhu shook off my hand. Do you want your dirty deeds to be made public? I said in annoyance. In public? Xia Mingzhu would definitely not reveal what she had done. Only when brought to her private space will she drop her guard and confess. I want her personal confession. Xia Mingzhu was momentarily speechless. After thinking for a moment, she snorted coldly and walked into her bedroom, closing the door, shutting out the ears outside. Xia Mingzhu immediately admitted to what she had done. So naive, it almost makes me feel bad for retaliating against her. Not, yes, I did it. It's just that she got lucky that night and escaped. What's so good about that woman that makes Shen Yukin so obsessed with her? If Shen Yukin had chosen you, I would have conceded willingly, but I'm not reconciled. Su Xiaoxiao is just an ugly and lowly commoner. I'm clearly prettier than her, more elegant, more sensible and generous. What makes her so special that she can win Shen Yukin's favor? Xia Mingzhu's tone was full of resentment and indignation. She almost gritted her teeth when she said the name Su Xiaoxiao. Jealousy and hatred twisted her beautiful face into something ugly and distorted. Although we're both villainous female characters, I feel she's much more dedicated than I am. She portrays a spoiled, arrogant young lady who is both wicked and stupid to the fullest extent. She stole your man while you were abroad. Aren't you even a little bit angry? Me, angry? Why would I be angry? She helped me see the true nature of a person. I think Shen Yukin isn't all that great either. Xia Mingzhu. Heh, I know, you're just putting on a brave face. I laughed. Okay, whatever you want. Xia Mingzhu, Ling Shuiro, why don't we join forces? Let's get rid of that woman. My only opponent can be you. Yeah, whatever. I answered perfunctorily. As soon as I left, I anonymously sent the surveillance video and recording to Shen Yukin, of course. The recorded audio was slightly processed. My voice was removed. What Xia Mingzhu said earlier was enough. Although it's not enough to be key evidence, but it's enough to let Shen Yukin know about it. The aloof and eccentric Shen Yukin will fill in all the blanks himself. If he knew that the Su Xiaoxiao he couldn't find that night had encountered such a thing, his most likely reaction wouldn't be heartache, but rather, feeling that his woman was tainted, betrayed. Su Xiaoxiao would inevitably suffer some torment, and Xia Mingzhu, just wait for the revenge. The vengeful Shen Yukin will definitely not let her off. Next, I just need to go home and wait for news. While waiting for news, my supervisor from abroad sent me an email. I hope I can go back and continue to be his assistant. Recently, my supervisor started a new research project and is swamped. The email was full of simple and sincere words of retention. Honey, I really need you. Without you, a lot of my work can't proceed. Please come back soon, my dearest student. Although I really want to go back, but I haven't handled the matters at home properly. and I'm worried about leaving, especially with the potential trouble that is Shinmyukin. The plot of family ruin in the book has always been a thorn in my heart. I had to temporarily decline my supervisor's request. Lunchtime, just went downstairs. Mom saw me and frowned deeply. I was utterly bewildered. I had just sat down, not even having had a bite of the warm food. Mom brought me a lunchbox. What are you doing staying at home all day? You know there are other women around Shinmyukin. Why don't you do something about it? You were abroad before and barely saw him. Sending this soup over will make him remember your kindness. Mom, why can't you make some soup for your own daughter? I directly opened the lunchbox and started drinking, but the next second, my hand was fiercely struck with a chopstick. Mom used all her strength, and I felt like my hand bone was about to be broken. A wave of pain washed over me. I touched the red and swollen marks, full of confusion. Mom, what are you doing? Why did you hit me? Mom frowned, her words laced with impatience. You have the nerve to ask, going abroad to study, did you eat all the etiquette you learned? But I'm at home, you're my mom, am I not even allowed to have some soup? Looking at my indifferent mother in front of me, my heart felt like it was soaking in acid. Sour and swollen, I vaguely remember that when I was a child. She always restricted my freedom like this, not allowed to be with Ling Yan, not allowed to go out, not allowed to have my own social life, forcing me to play the piano until my fingers cramped. It hurt so much that tears kept flowing, and my fingers trembled uncontrollably, but my mother remained stern, making me kneel on the floor for the entire night as punishment. Finger cramps, I think you're just trying to be lazy. As for my father, he was usually absent. So I don't have much of an impression of him. I only occasionally saw him when he came back drunk. His clothes were covered in lipstick marks. My mother was in the worst mood at these times. If things don't go her way, I have to bear her anger. I thought that after studying abroad for a few years and returning, their attitude towards me might improve a little, but it's still like this. Expecting them to show me a little tenderness is simply a luxury. You're almost married. How can you be so selfish? I'm selfish. How am I selfish? As the daughter of the Ling family, you must be virtuous and know how to take care of and be considerate of your husband. How can you only care about eating and drinking well? I gave birth to you, not so you could be so lazy and gluttonous. You need to be virtuous and considerate enough to gain a foothold in your in-laws' home. At the very least, you need to do the bare minimum on the surface. I opened my mouth, unable to resist being sarcastic. Mom, you're the most considerate, so considerate that while Dad's flags are flying high outside, you're playing the good wife at home, acting like an ostrich with its head in the sand. Slap. The sudden slap left me stunned. I covered my face, looking at her in disbelief. Mom calmly withdrew her hand, leaving only one sentence. You're not fit to go out today, so just rest well at home. Watching her back, my heart sank, sinking with a dull ache. A bitter taste spread in my mouth. Something seemed to be stuck in my throat, and I couldn't say a word. I am completely disappointed in her. After spending a long time together, Ling Yan gradually became more human. The strong sense of human-machine interaction was gone. His office was originally very simple and clean. Ever since I went to see him once, he prepared a lot of snacks and plush pillows. The office was filled with a girlish atmosphere. When he worked, I would sit on the sofa next to him, watching dramas and eating snacks. Ling Yan occasionally looked up from the piles of documents on his desk, reminding me not to wear headphones for too long. I went through the motions. He smiled helplessly, stepped forward and took off my headphones. Standing behind me, he massaged my ears. I can't stay at home now. My mother kept urging me to go and take care of Shinmyukin all day long. I simply moved out and lived in Suingju's private villa. The night I moved out, Ling Yan called me. His tone was unusually serious and heavy. With a hint of worry, where did you go? Why didn't you come home? Me, brother, I won't be coming home anymore. I'm moving out to live on my own. A heavy breathing sound came from the phone. Is that Mom and Dad? Right. I was silent. Ling Yan knew that his parents didn't like me. He saw it all. Ling Yan, okay, I understand. But it's not safe for you to be alone outside. Where are you now? It's okay. I have friends with me. I winked at Su Yingzhu. I still don't want any acquaintances to discover the location of this villa. It's my and Su Yingzhu's secret base. Su Yingzhu said into the phone. Don't worry, brother Ling. I'm with Shui Ro. Nothing will happen. Ling Yan, no. I'm still worried. Where are you? I'll come find you, brother. Really, I'm really fine, don't worry, I'm a grown person, I can't be eaten, can I? I'm afraid you'll run off with someone, just like the moment you said you were going to marry Shinmyukin. It's incredibly frustrating to watch the little sister you've raised be handed over to someone else. What's even worse is that the other person is unreliable. And your sister will be bullied after she marries him, originally. They were also competitors, and now there's the engagement with his little sister. Ling Yan's dislike for Shinmyukin is even deeper than his dislike for difficult clients. Seeing that Ling Yan kept asking about my location, I had no choice but to go back, but I only lingered at the gate, not wanting to go inside to face my parents. A car drove out from the villa. Ling Yan opened the car door and pulled me into the car. He leaned over and fastened my seatbelt, completely enveloped by his aura. I felt an overwhelming sense of security. He took me to a villa. Wow, when did you buy a villa, brother? I bought it recently. I was originally planning to transfer it to your name when you got married. However, I think we can transfer the ownership now. Ling Yan handed me the room card. If you don't want to go home, just stay here. I've checked the security and environment here, and they're very good. Go with me to do the transfer tomorrow morning. I happily accepted it. I was wrong. I shouldn't have said Ling Yan was a robot, giving money and a villa. He must be the god of wealth descended to earth. Before leaving, Ling Yan solemnly instructed me, you have to call me more often in the future, and don't secretly date anyone without telling me. If I find out, I will. He paused, seemingly unsure of what punishment to give. I chuckled playfully. What would happen? Would you take back this villa? No. I would harass you every day, making sure you can't be alone with him. He reached out and gently tapped my head with his knuckles. The force was neither painful nor ticklish. I'm going back. Sleep early, don't stay up late. I nodded obediently, watching him leave. Su Xiaoxiao was being tortured to the point of collapse. In the dead of night, the man dragged her to the villa. He threw her roughly onto the bed, leaning over her. A pair of large hands gripped her neck like two iron clamps. No matter how she struggled, she couldn't escape the nightmare before her. Su Xiaoxiao, where exactly did you go that night? Which wild man did you sleep with? Tell me. Shinmyukin's tone was grim, filled with deep coldness. His deep, dark eyes stared at her, as if he wanted to devour her whole. At this moment, Shinmyukin's face was indescribably ferocious, as if possessed by madness. But no matter how Su Xiaoxiao explained, Shinmyukin refused to believe her. She wasn't violated that day at all. Ling Shui took her away and detoxified her. She slept peacefully through the night and returned to the Shin Corporation to work early the next morning. Moreover, Shinmyukin clearly has a fiancé, so why is he still provoking her like this? Ryup, a chill ran over her as the torn fabric scattered on the floor. Crystalline tears streamed from the corners of her eyes, dampening the sheets. Her skin, already covered in bruises, now bore fresh wounds. A sweet, metallic taste filled her mouth. Su Xiaoxiao was truly exhausted these days. She has been staying with Shinmyukin for her younger brother's medical expenses, being dutiful and conscientious, doing the work that a secretary should do. Even when constantly humiliated, she silently endures it, swallowing all the tears into her stomach. But what she got in return was his intensified punishment. It was all in vain that she still had a glimmer of fantasy about this devilish man. Su Xiaoxiao looked at the man on the bed, beautiful as an enchantress. But only deep fear emergence in her heart. All she wanted to do at that moment was escape him, so she slowly got up, picked up the clothes from the floor and put them on, barely covering her body. She tiptoed to the villa door and ran out. She held her breath and concentrated as she did all of this, afraid of making the slightest noise, waking the madman on the bed, and incurring even more terrifying punishment. Heaven seemed to be shedding tears for her too. A light drizzle began to fall from the sky. She couldn't tell if the water on her face was rain or tears. She only knew she had nowhere to go, like a pitiful little dog on the side of the road, waiting for its owner to rescue it. The rain poured down harder and harder. It beat mercilessly against her, stealing the warmth from her body. In a daze, a flash of white light passed before her eyes. The car door opened, and she was pulled into the warm carriage. Familiar voices echoed in my ears. Su Xiaoxiao, are you crazy? What are you doing standing by the road in such heavy rain? Even if you forgot your umbrella, couldn't you find somewhere to take shelter? What's the point of having a brain if you don't use it? the woman fussed, wiping her body with a towel. Su Xiaoxiao opened her mouth, her throat terribly hoarse. She uttered a difficult sentence, as unpleasant as branches scraping against glass. Miss Ling, I really have nowhere else to go, I'm really speechless. Is the only way to express tragedy the cliché of having nowhere to go on a rainy day? Su Xiaoxiao blinked in confusion. She didn't quite understand what the very irritable woman in front of her, with her hands on her hips, meant. However, the other party handed her a thermos. Opening it, inside was steaming hot brown sugar ginger tea. She took a sip, and the warmth spread all the way to her heart. She didn't understand why Ling Xuerou was being so nice to her, logically. The scene of their meeting should have been tense, remembering the things between herself and Shen Mukin. Heartbroken, a trace of guilt welled up in her heart. The man in the driver's seat didn't say a word. I happened to glance up and saw him turn his head to look over. His features were as handsome as Shen Mukin's, and his temperament was equally refined and otherworldly. Su Xiaoxiao couldn't help but be curious. Who is he? Could it be Ling Xuerou's new boyfriend? The weather forecast said it would be sunny all day today, but it suddenly started raining in the middle of the night, with lightning and thunder. My eyelids keep twitching. I have a feeling something bad is going to happen. I immediately thought of Ling Yan and Su Xiaoxiao. According to the original plot, they would meet when cracks appeared in the relationship between Su Xiaoxiao and Shen Mukin, and create some ambiguous friction. As for brown sugar ginger tea, it's not like I'm so kind as to make it for her on purpose. That was actually what Su Yingzhu had left over. She was feeling unwell due to her period and was sensitive to the cold, so I thought about warming her up. Brown sugar ginger tea works best for her. I heated up what was left in the pot. Then I filled a thermos and went to find Ling Yan. As a result, I really encountered Su Xiaoxiao, who didn't know how to take shelter from the rain on a heavy rainy day. I was speechless. I pushed her into the bathroom and made her take a hot shower. I was taller than her, and my clothes were loose on her, making her seem even smaller. She even looked at people with pitiful, moist, and glistening eyes. The whole person was weak, helpless, and pitiful, like a fawn caught in a trap waiting to be rescued. Ha, how lovable. Took a blanket and covered her with it. Su Xiaoxiao obediently lay down, only her head showing. All right, you can stay here tonight. Thank you, Miss Ling, you're such a good person. I, having just received the friend card, waved my hand. Since there's nothing else, I'll head back first. Ling Yan spoke from outside the room. It's not appropriate for a grown man like him to stay overnight here. It could easily bring trouble to my sister. I closed the door and spoke quietly with Ling Yan. Brother, you know she's Su Xiaoxiao, right? I know, she's Shen Mukin's secretary. Aren't you even a little curious why I'm helping her? Ling Yan patted my head. I know you're a good person. You'll help whenever you can. I'm more curious. How did you guess such a ridiculous thing? Me, brother, do you believe me? Ling Yan, you're my sister. If I don't believe you, who else would I believe? I hesitated for a moment, but still told Ling Yan the plot of the book. Ling Yan was silent after listening, not to mention him. Even I felt it was unbelievable when I said it myself. It was like a plot I had fantasized about from reading too many novels. Just when I thought he would look at me like I was crazy, Ling Yan chuckled softly instead, and then suddenly gave me a light hug. It was a very gentlemanly gesture, his hands hovering in the air, his chest not touching mine. I paused for a second before pulling away. Thank you for telling me all this. I understand. I'll be careful. I was overjoyed. In the original plot, Ling Yan invested in a new technology, but that laboratory was just an empty shell. It was Shen Mukin who hired someone to set Ling Yan up. All the money invested was wasted. The company's funding chain has broken, and it can't recover for a while. If Shen Mukin continues his relentless pursuit, the Ling Corporation will completely collapse. My parents couldn't bear the blow and passed away one after another, and Ling Yan lives in a dilapidated rental house, burdened with debt. If my reminder can make Ling Yan be prepared, I'd be willing to be considered crazy. No matter how awful my parents are, they're still my family. Besides, Ling Yan is so good to me, I can't just let them head towards this kind of ending. The next day, early in the morning, a clattering and banging sound arose. I was awakened from my sweet dream. I got out of bed. Suppressing my anger, I discovered the noise was coming from the kitchen. Inside, a woman was busy with pots and pans. His mind wasn't quite awake. and he mistakenly thought it was Su Yingzhu, so without thinking, he stepped forward and hugged her. 2 hands reached out from her arms and pinched his soft cheeks hard. "What are you doing so early in the morning? Do you know you're disturbing my sleep?" I'm sorry, Miss Ling." But instead of a familiar voice, it was Su Xiaoxiao's weak apology. Feeling the stiffness of the body in my arms, I slowly let go. A faint blush spread across Su Xiaoxiao's cheeks, glanced at me, hesitated to speak. I silently turned and went into the bathroom, combed my messy hair and washed up. Coming out, I saw Su Xiaoxiao sitting upright in the living room. He immediately stood up to explain as soon as he saw me. "Sorry, I didn't mean to wake you. I just wanted to make you breakfast." "Yes." I nodded faintly. "Not bad, at least he knows how to be grateful." But her clumsiness made up for a slight change in my perception of her. I went into the kitchen, cooked some noodles, and fried 2 eggs. Breakfast was settled casually like that. We were silent, quietly eating our noodles. Perhaps the atmosphere was too awkward. Su Xiaoxiao pursed her lips, trying to find something to talk about. "Miss Ling's cooking is really good." I didn't even look up. "Yeah." Seeing that my attitude was consistently indifferent, she stopped trying to make conversation. After breakfast, Su Xiaoxiao changed into a formal outfit. She glanced at the time and was about to head out. "Where are you going now?" he asked, being nosy. The other party smiled, a little flattered. "I have to go to work." "Work?" "To continue being Shenmuken's secretary." Su Xiaoxiao bit her lip, a hint of hesitation flashing in her eyes. Suddenly, she bent down and bowed to me. "I'm sorry, Miss Ling. I've already taken 3 months' salary in advance, and if I leave directly, I won't be able to pay it back at all. It's for your brother's medical expenses, isn't it?" Su Xiaoxiao was slightly stunned. "How did Miss Ling know?" "It only takes a little investigation to know everything about you." I lifted her clothes to let her see the bruises on her arm clearly. "Shenmuken is using your brother to threaten you and torment you like this. Can't you think of another way out?" I wanted to, but..." Su Xiaoxiao's eyes reddened instantly. Being Shenmuken's secretary is her best way out at the moment. She wasn't from a prestigious school, and her professional skills weren't outstanding. Leaving Shenmuken, where else could she find a job with such a high salary? I slightly parted my red lips. "How about..." Su Xiaoxiao raised her head, her gaze burning as she looked directly at me. Forget it. I can't interfere with company matters." Hearing this, the light in Su Xiaoxiao's eyes dimmed in an instant. "I'm leaving, Miss Ling." "Wait a moment." I straightened her collar. I picked out a diamond necklace from the jewelry box and put it on her. "I have plenty of jewelry. This one is ugly and I don't like it, so I'm giving it to you. Do whatever you want with it, whether you sell it or whatever you do with it. It's up to you. The diamonds above are of excellent quality and are a limited edition. Selling them would bring in a very considerable sum of money. I've done all I can. Thank you. You're a really good person." Su Xiaoxiao received another friend card. Me, okay. Seeing Xia Mingzhu again. She seemed like a swan with broken wings. Her blonde hair looked rather frizzy, likely from lack of care during this time. Usually when she goes out, she's always surrounded by a lot of girlfriends. With various bags and packages being carried by others, she walked at the very front of the crowd, unrestrained and dashing, radiating vigor. But now, she sat blankly by the central lake, looking lost. She didn't even notice me walking up to her. "Xia Mingzhu, what a coincidence." She turned her head slowly and blankly. Her unfocused pupils focused and stared at my face, stared at me like that for a few seconds. She suddenly spoke, full of resentment. "It was you, wasn't it? Was it you who caused my family's factory to be shut down?" The Xia family's factory has been getting frequent inspections lately. It's not just hindering the efficiency of shipments. The problem is, they actually found something. The factory was immediately shut down and ordered to rectify the situation. The new batch of goods will all have to be destroyed. This will bring considerable losses to the Xia family. As for when we can start work, that depends on Shenmuken. I spread my hands. "It wasn't me, you know. I don't have that kind of ability. If I really had that kind of ability, would I still need to use a borrowed knife to kill, regardless of whether it was me or not?" Xia Mingzhu's eyes gradually became fierce, filled with resentment. "I only told you about that matter. How would Shenmuken know?" "Oh, so that's what you were talking about." I put on a look of sudden realization, then chuckled softly, mocking in a low voice. How can you be so sure that the person you bribed will keep the secret, you idiot, you? Xia Mingzhu's gaze swept across my face inch by inch, trying to find a flaw, but I was already prepared, my expression calm and watertight. Seeing it was uninteresting, I waved and left. After I left, Madame Xia came over. Let's go back. Zhu, ugh, why go back? It's so annoying. Xia Mingzhu stomped her foot in annoyance. But when Madame Xia came over and took her hand, she didn't resist. Following closely behind, they walked slowly down the street, a heavy atmosphere hanging between them. After a long silence, Xia Mingzhu broke the silence. Mom, will you and Dad send me to prison? Madame Xia replied without hesitation. No, we won't. Your dad and I can't bear to see you suffer even a little bit. Calculating the time. The wedding day is almost here. My parents must be going crazy looking for me. They hired a bunch of bodyguards to invite me back. You dare to come back, Ling Shuero? Are you trying to rebel? I took 2 steps back to avoid my mother's pull. The other person's eyelashes trembled slightly, and they stared blankly at their hand hanging in the air. The muscles in their face seemed to twitch for a moment. Then they angrily questioned me. You're avoiding me. Why are you avoiding me? I'm your mother. Would I ever harm you? Tomorrow is your wedding day. Hurry up and get ready. She stubbornly continued to step forward and grab my arm, with such force that it left a red mark. I pried open her fingers and went into the room without stopping. Mom followed closely behind, and I closed the bedroom door, locking myself in. Bang, bang, bang. The door was pounded loudly, on and off, all day long. I even wondered if the door could withstand the abuse. When my stomach was growling with hunger in the evening, Ling Yan sent a message, open the door. As soon as I opened the door, the man entered the room. He neatly arranged the food he was carrying in his hands, called me to eat up, send me a message when you're done so I can come collect the dishes. With that, he tiptoed out, without disturbing anyone. The next morning, my mother led people to break down the door. They dragged me to a bridal shop to try on wedding dresses. Ling Yan glanced at the dazzling array of white wedding dresses, and when he looked at me, his deep eyes were filled with a mix of obscure emotions. I wanted to discern them carefully, but they disappeared in an instant. Stepping out of the dressing room, Ling Yan stared at me blankly. I stood in front of the mirror, examining myself. Brother, what do you think? Ling Yan stood beside me, not answering for a long time. I just stared blankly at the man and woman in the mirror. Brother, I turned around and tugged at him gently. Ling Yan tucked my stray hair behind my ear, his voice lower than usual. Are you really going to marry him? I can. Of course. I glanced at my mom not far away and the bodyguards guarding the door, winking at Ling Yan. Ling Yan quickly understood my intention, nodded. I'm surprised you didn't go to work. Your life's important events. No matter how busy I am, I'll be by your side. Oh, is that so? Then, at the previous engagement banquet, which side's older brother didn't attend, we were chatting idly when Mom suddenly cut in forcefully. He grabbed me and walked out. Since you're already changed, let's go quickly. Wait, Mom, I don't think this wedding dress is right. I want to change into another one. I think it's fine. Mom interrupted me impatiently. You only wear a wedding dress for one day. There's no need to be so picky. Ugh, wait, Mom, let Shuero pick again. This set doesn't suit her. Ling Yan stepped forward, separating me from Mom. It's kind of you to accompany Shuero to try on wedding dresses. Please, have a seat and rest for a while. Let the staff help her. Mom always fulfilled Ling Yan's requests. Ling Yan helped Mom to sit down on the side. I took the opportunity to change into a shop assistant's clothes and sneak away. Unsurprisingly, neither the bride nor the groom were present at the wedding ceremony. Su Xiaoxiao is missing. I only found out when Shenmukan came to interrogate me. The miniature camera I secretly pinned on Su Xiaoxiao's clothes had run out of battery and was turned off. But it had already recorded a lot of audio. Su Xiaoxiao, being around Shenmukan, never had a good day, not to mention the coercion and enticement from various people. Shenmukan's fits of madness were enough for her to bear. In the audio, her voice was hoarse from shouting, becoming weaker and weaker, until only painful whimpers remained. Ling Shuero, where the hell did she go? Tell me, or you'll regret it. I rolled my eyes at the man who was approaching me step by step. Are you crazy? How would I know where she went? She's still your secretary. Don't you even know where your own subordinate is going? What, do I look like some kind of object-finding compass? I'd know where someone is just by asking. If I had that function, there wouldn't be any lost and found ads in the world. Shen Yukin narrowed his eyes, not believing my explanation. Ling Shui Ro, I know it's you. You've always resented Xiao Xiao. Don't play innocent in front of me. You were involved in the drugging incident too, weren't you? I laughed in anger. Young Master Shen, don't bark like a mad dog without any evidence. Okay, evidence. Does a venomous woman like you need evidence? That night, don't think I don't know you were the one who took Xiao Xiao away. Yes, I took her away. But I didn't do anything. On the other hand, you couldn't protect your own woman, letting her be humiliated, and now you're blaming everyone but yourself, calling me venomous. You're truly shameless. Shen Yukin, Ling Shui Ro, you're asking for death. The slap came towards my face, my pupils contracted sharply, and I was ready, but unexpectedly, someone suddenly hooked my waist, and I fell into a warm embrace. Shen Yukin's wrist was grabbed, and he stood there in a daze. I looked up at the person who came. Brother, why are you here? You step back first, I'll talk to him. Ling Yan pulled me behind him, coldly watching Shen Yukin. Shen Yukin, are you only capable of taking your anger out on women? Shen Yukin, ask your good sister what she's done before you say such things. Me, I didn't do anything. Ling Yan, evidence. Without evidence, don't just make empty claims. Do you just make up customer needs in your head when you do business? Seeing that he couldn't get any advantage in front of us, Shen Yukin snorted coldly. Next time we meet, I hope you'll still be this tough. After delivering the harsh words, she turned around, got in the car, and left. Su Yingzhu ran out from the corner, anxiously grabbing me, looking me up and down. Sister Shui Ro, it's so good you're okay. Never mind that. Did you get the footage just now? Got it, got it. I didn't expect this Shen Yukin to look so decent, but he's actually so low. Only knowing how to vent his anger on women, Ling Yan understood when he saw this, tapped me on the head. Don't put yourself in danger next time. I rubbed my head. I know. Ling Yan glanced at Su Yingzhu again. And you too. Su Yingzhu stuck out her tongue. Ling Yan reached out his hand. I tacitly handed him the USB drive containing Shen Yukin's scandal. I knew he would handle everything well. Anyway, I need his help. Regarding Su Xiaoxiao, I'm actually a little worried. Apart from being a bit delicate and sentimental, she doesn't have any bad intentions. Although I don't like her, she doesn't deserve this. If Su Xiaoxiao deliberately hid, only one person might know her whereabouts. Her sickly younger brother. Clearly, Shen Yukin had the same thought as me. He arrived at the hospital before me. Su Leiyang's face was deathly pale, in the harsh sunlight. Her skin was so pale you could almost see the veins beneath. Years of illness had made his body much thinner than other boys his age. He looked only 14 or 15 years old. Shen Yukin looked down at the boy in the wheelchair. His whole body exuded a cold aura, and his eyes were extremely icy. The boy looked up, meeting the intense gaze of the imposing adult male without flinching. Cough, cough. Sister actually disappeared. Shen Yukin, where did she go? Su Leiyang, I don't know. She didn't tell me. Shen Mucheng, Shen Mucheng took out his phone and called Su Xiaoxiao again and again, but no one answered. His patience was exhausted, and the veins on the back of his hand bulged. Roaring softly at the phone, Su Xiaoxiao, if you don't answer the phone in 2 hours, don't blame me for stopping your brother's treatment. Su Leiyang's expression remained unchanged as she watched the man leave, her eyes deep. Are you here to find my sister too? The boy turned his head, speaking towards the corner where I was. I've already found you, big sister. Although his face didn't show it, his words were full of vigilance. What is your relationship with the person from just now? I told him everything about Su Xiaoxiao and Shen Yukin. The young man pondered for a moment, seeming to believe it, yet also seeming to doubt it. So, sister has suffered so much for me, you really don't know where she is. Su Leiyang shook his head. I had no choice but to go back, anyway, as the female lead. Su Xiaoxiao would be fine no matter how much she suffered. Just as I was leaving the hospital, a figure suddenly rushed towards me, then a dull pain hit my head, and I passed out. When I woke up again, I saw Su Xiaoxiao, except, her hands and feet were tied. I tragically discovered that I was also tied up. In the abandoned factory, the mastermind appeared. Xia Mingzhu's resentful gaze swept across my face and Su Xiaoxiao's. In the original plot, I was supposed to kidnap Su Xiaoxiao. It seems my changes have caused a deviation in the plot. Xia Mingzhu was directly promoted to the #1 vicious female supporting character. It's all your fault. If it weren't for you, our family wouldn't have gone bankrupt, and I would still be a high and mighty young lady. This spoiled young lady is completely hopeless. From her face, all I could see was resentment and madness, with absolutely no awareness of her own problems. Xia Mingzhu, calm down. You know killing someone is punishable by death, right? Your parents love you so much. You still have a chance to redeem yourself. Don't do anything stupid. Most importantly, I wasn't the one who bankrupted your family. Shouldn't you be kidnapping Shinmyukin, since revenge should be directed at the perpetrator? While calming her down, I tried to break free from the ropes. However, this seemed to provoke her. A deep sadness suddenly welled up in her eyes, which soon turned entirely into anger. Heh, hee, Mom and Dad, heh, you still dare to speak. It's all your fault. It's all your fault, she murmured, grabbing my chin. My jaw felt like it was about to be crushed. Sharp nails scraped across my face, a stinging pain. Fresh blood slowly seeped from the wound. Seeing me wince in pain, a look of satisfaction flashed in her eyes. Ling Shuero, you're the one I hate the most. You always go against me, snatching everything I set my eyes on. Every second, every minute. I wish you could disappear from this world. Now, it can finally come true. Go to hell. Xia Mingzhu raised the knife and stabbed me fiercely. I could only watch helplessly as the blade got closer and closer to my body. The sound of a blade piercing flesh and blood rang out, but the expected pain did not come. Su Xiaoxiao groaned and fell into my arms. I stared wide-eyed, in disbelief. She was actually saving me. What's going on? But Xia Mingzhu didn't give me time to think. I broke free from the ropes, and, facing her knife, pushed her to the ground. A deep, bone-exposing gash was cut into his arm, yet he felt no pain, and hurriedly stepped forward to kick Xia Mingzhu's knife away. Just then, a burst of footsteps came from outside. Ling Yan and Shinmyukin arrived at the same time. Seeing our miserable state, both men's breathing hitched simultaneously. Shinmyukin rushed to check on Su Xiaoxiao, while Ling Yan first subdued Xia Mingzhu on the ground. Xiaoxiao, wake up. Don't scare me, Shinmyukin panicked, looking at Su Xiaoxiao covered in blood. His eyes reddened, his hand trembling as he tried to help her up and into his arms. I kicked him away, wincing in pain. Get out of the way, don't interfere with the rescue. The sadness on Shinmyukin's face instantly vanished. Turning as dark as the bottom of a pot, the arriving rescuers pulled him aside, his face even darker. Su Xiaoxiao and I got into the ambulance together. Later I found out that Xia Mingzhu's parents had gone to jail for making fake medicine. Now their whole family will be reunited. Well, I guess that's something to celebrate. The doctor said the knife cut a tendon in my hand, which may have future implications. And the wound may leave a scar. Ling Yan found the best medicine for me and applied it. After learning that Su Xiaoxiao had saved me, he not only covered all of Su Xiaoxiao's medical expenses, he also specially hired experts from abroad to treat Su Liyang's illness. During the recovery period, Shinmyukin came to harass Su Xiaoxiao every day. Su Xiaoxiao and I shared a hospital room. Every night I wake up to see Shinmyukin sitting next to Su Xiaoxiao, staring intently at her. He doesn't say anything, which is creepy. I quietly sent a message to Ling Yan. The next day, while Shinmyukin was away, I transferred to another hospital. Of course, Su Liyang wasn't forgotten either. When Su Xiaoxiao was free, she could also visit Su Liyang's room to take care of him. Su Liyang also frequently visited our room. After spending a few days together, Su Liyang's eyes would always secretly linger on me. When I looked up, he turned his gaze away. When I stared directly at him, the tips of his ears would turn red. His skin was already pale, so the red on his ears was especially noticeable. I raised an eyebrow and switched to a private room. Now he has no excuse to come see me, but people kept passing by the hospital room door from time to time, a bit annoying. Unable to see Su Xiaoxiao, Shinmyukin frantically searched for people to investigate her whereabouts, unleashing his impotent rage on his assistant. I'll give you 1 day. If you can't find him, you can die. The assistant dodged the flying glass, clutching the resignation letter. He headed to the HR department to submit it. A video of Shinmyukin arrogantly hitting someone suddenly appeared online. Of course, The video was processed, only Shen Yukin's face was left, while mine and Ling Yan's, who arrived later, were blurred. In just one day, it topped the trending searches. The other party's PR team acted quickly. They removed the trending topic and then released a wave of celebrity scandals to divert attention. Ling Yan's PR team is no joke either. The trending search that had just been removed was pushed back to the top. At the same time, dialogues of him humiliating and sexually harassing Su Xiaoxiao were exposed. Su Xiaoxiao's Weibo was flooded with comments. Some were there to watch the drama, some to comfort her, and some to support her in suing Shen Yukin. Shen Yukin's reputation plummeted, from national sweetheart to abusive, disgusting man, stinking to high heaven. Even Shen's stock price was slightly affected. Su Xiaoxiao looked at the messages on her phone, her face growing paler and paler. I glanced sideways. You don't feel sorry for him, do you? Su Xiaoxiao bit her lip and shook her head, but her next words were clearly defending Shen Yukin. He helped me when I was at my lowest point. After all, I don't think he's as bad as the internet says. Sometimes, it's actually me who makes him angry. And that's why he speaks without thinking. I shook my head. Su Xiaoxiao, you're hopeless. She even tried to post a Weibo to defend Shen Yukin. The eyes of the vast number of netizens are discerning. Everyone was complaining. 666. What is this lady doing? The class rep is here. It's Stockholm Syndrome. Poet holding. Is it possible that she was coerced into posting this Weibo? Sis, please go see a therapist. Don't keep everything bottled up. Followed. Waiting for this miss to get old so I can sell her health products. Su Xiaoxiao looked at the replies below. Not a single one wasn't criticizing her. Seeing this, she silently deleted that Weibo post. Ling Yan told me that the scammers from the original plot have appeared. I was a little surprised. This is much earlier than the original plot. It's probably Ling Yan's actions that made Shen Yukin anxious. Ling Yan directly called the police and caught the gang of scammers in one fell swoop. Following the vine, I found Shen Yukin. When the police escorted him into the car, the Shen Corporation building was surrounded by reporters. With Shen Yukin dealt with, the weight on my heart finally lifted. After my injuries healed, I sent an email to my supervisor. Now that everything is over, I should continue my studies abroad. In his second year abroad, Ling Yan took over the Ling Group, with swift and decisive measures. He purged the ambitious individuals within the company. I heard that after having nothing to do, Dad completely indulged himself, spends all day and night carousing outside. Mom complains to Ling Yan every day. Ling Yan is extremely annoyed, hired 2 bodyguards to keep an eye on Dad every day. When Dad wants to go out for drinks with his cronies, he has to report to Mom. When we met again, Ling Yan handed me a paternity test. It showed that I was not biologically related to my parents. The cafe was quiet. Ling Yan stirred the coffee on the table. His eyes glanced absently out the window. Quietly waiting for my reaction, my expression remained unchanged as I put the paternity test report back into my bag. Brother, even if I'm not your biological sister, you'll still love me, right? Ling Yan paused slightly as he stirred his coffee. He lowered his eyes and responded softly, yes. I curved my eyes and smiled sweetly. I knew it. You're the best, brother, Shuero. He suddenly called out to me, Ling Yan. You probably don't have a boyfriend yet, right? Me. I'm doing experiments every day. Where would I find the time to get a boyfriend? Hearing this, a faint smile appeared at the corner of Ling Yan's mouth. Since I'm not my parents' biological child, where did the real heiress of the Ling family go? So hard to guess. During the time I was abroad, Su Xiaoxiao, at Su Liyang's strong suggestion, actually went to see a psychologist. Su Xiaoxiao now works at Ling Corporation, but not as a secretary or anything like that, but as a regular employee. Ling Yan takes extra care of her. When I slammed the paternity test report in front of Su Xiaoxiao, she was dumbfounded. What does this mean? Me? What does it mean? It means you're going to have parents. Su Xiaoxiao, after hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.